Hello, guys. Welcome to Back to Basics, and thank you for subscribing and supporting this small bubble network that we have in this podcast. I am so happy and thrilled to have this guest today that we're having today. His name is Mustafa Aziz. He is a technologist by day, but at night and passion, he is the owner of EBM Studios. He does videos and photos and brings small, uh, small dreams into a big, large scale as he advertises on YouTube, Instagram, and he meets people like he's met them before. He's a very dashing guy, as I say. I've seen his work. He's behind the camera, but today what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pull him right into the front of the camera and talk to us as to how he started and what his journey is. And today I'm gonna be calling Mustafa Aziz. Mustafa, thanks for joining Back to Basics.
Thank you, Gary, for inviting me over. And it's funny, this is my first camera appearance.
Yeah, you have always been behind the camera, and I thought I'll take the opportunity of pulling you out and bringing you, face to face and talking to you in person.
15 years,
15
now,
years, yes.
now, now, I can,
Congratulations.
now I can say I've done it all.
You've done it all, yes. So Mustafa, I've seen your work. Um, I've seen your work for the last 10 years. Obviously, you've done this for 15, and I'm pretty sure you must have started in some small room, and now you just have a big uh, empire studio, as you want to call it. Um, so, is it important to bring the grooms and the bride's dreams in what visionary are you looking at? I mean, can you explain that to me?
Absolutely. I mean, like in the end, you are working with the bride and groom and their different personalities. So our core has always been that we bring our style, we bring our flavor, but the end product is always a byproduct of what our bride and groom's personalities are. So if you look at our video productions, if you look at our pictures, we definitely have an eye. We definitely basically situate them in a particular setting. But what's unique about from one video to another video is the personality that basically our bride and grooms bring to the production. And that's what the I would say from our perspective was the key success element for all our productions. Knock on wood, we've been in business for 15 years now. And the only way we were able to stick around for that long was because uh, we were in the listening mode. We were always listening to what the brides want. We were always working with the grooms. If they're not comfortable in a certain setting, at the end of the day, you want to make sure the people who hired you, the people who you are working with, they're comfortable with you.
So you're saying that, let me give you an example. So let's say hypothetically, if there is a boring couple and a boring event, how do you make that exciting on the video? What do you have a vision in your mind when it comes to, let's say, a boring event versus an exciting event? Because those are kind of easier because then it's more creativity, right? But how do you make a boring video exciting and people keep on coming back to you over and over again?
So at EBM, we call them slow-paced events and fast-paced events.
Hmm.
There's no event. I mean, like, there's no party which is a boring. Just imagine, like, if I invite some people over to my house for a dinner, that's
Hmm.
exciting. That's interesting. If somebody's inviting me over to their place, and when you put, let's say, 100, 200, 300 people together, uh, there's no concept of a boring event. It's just a slow-paced event versus a fast-paced event. I think from our perspective, what we like to do is embrace the event as it is. We are not trying to fabricate the event in any different way. Let's say if it was a slow paced event, try to create a high energy video around it. You have to concentrate and find the elements which basically complement that event bring the beauty out, let's say the fine details, the moments, the expressions. And weddings are emotional. So we always had a soft spot. We always had, like, say, a sweet spot, to make our jobs easier, because when you capture human emotions, that's it. That's all you need to focus on. And that's where the photography becomes easy.
So how is it different between EBM versus another Joe Schmo studio? How does that make you different? I guess you listen to people, but I'm pretty sure there's beyond that.
So, first of all, I don't think that there is much of a difference between EBM and others. But if there is, um, EBM has always been a company of the people who are running it. And I'm certainly not running it. I'm one of the people who are part of EBM. EBM is a culture. You come to EBM because you enjoy photography. You come to EBM because you like going to parties, you like meeting with people. Um, this is not your day job. This is a little bit more than that. This is your escape. This is your getaway. So EBM was never that, okay, it's going to be Mustafa Aziz photography. I never believed in that. I believed that, okay, I needed to create an escape so we can focus on our creativity. We can focus on things that basically are a little bit slightly different from our day jobs, focused on fun. And it's an opportunity for me to work with my friends, for me to work with my family, to spend time with them and meet new people, build new relationships. So if there is a difference between EBM and everybody else, probably that would be the difference.
So, guys, you have to understand. Yes, I understand that you want to make money, you want to make fame, but at the end of the day, you want to build a good a legacy, a good fun legacy, and this is what Mustafa has done with EBM. I thank you for that. I mean that it does make things a lot easier for at least the clients and actually the end product when we see that on YouTube and everything else. Uh, so so Mustafa, so as a brand new photography guy, a brand new videography guy, do you think that we need to have 100 photos, 100 videos to show the portfolio before you start the business, or do you think that you just need that one clip to say yes, I'm here?
So I would phrase it slightly different. Photography is not about business. This is more about a passion. And when you're passionate about something, let's say, um, I can talk about photography, community, to some extent, that we all started taking pictures without having that vision that, okay, someday I'm going to be a wedding photographer. Someday I'm going to be a National Geographic photographer for Animal Planet or something like that. You have to pursue your passion. And if you want to progress into this field, your willingness to capture moments and expressions, and whether it's a funeral that you're photographing, or whether it's a birthday, or let's say maternity shoot you're photographing, or a wedding, or let's say a seminar, try to remind yourself, why are you there? You're trying to capture a moment which will be seen by someone in the future. And you try to capture that moment from that perspective that, okay, keep the genuine feelings in there, keep the emotions in there. When you capture those emotions, that's where the magic happens. The business part will happen automatically. Over the years, I've met many people, and they've come to me and they said, like, we want to invest with EBM. And, I've gotten opportunities from people where, they say, okay, we have this much cash, 100 grand, 250 grand. We want to invest with EBM and we want to be silent partners. And my answer to them was always like, I can take this cash, but you have to be able to contribute in some way.
Hmm.
You have to become a part of the business. And part of the business, EBM is not about administration. EBM is not about HR. EBM is about people who are behind the lens and taking the pictures, making the videos, and capturing those moments for people. Sometimes I was also, asked this question by the people who joined our team that what do I need to do to make more money? It's very simple. Focus on your family, focus on your friends, focus on the people you know. Be the person that people turn to when they need a picture taken, when they need a video made, and the money will follow. Money, I understand, it's an important element, but it should not be the element when you're pursuing your passion. And photography is all about passion.
You've been in this business for 15 years. I guess 16 is running right now. So from
Okay.
your first year, whatever you have learned, you're learned, right? Today, what have you unlearned and then learned something new? Do you talk to youngsters to find out what the creativity is? Or is your thought process has changed? Or do you keep on testing the equipment? I think it's like two, three questions at the same time. So please, whatever you feel comfortable is right.
What have I learned and what have I not learned, right? So 15 years is a long time. And if you think about it, our journey has been about, and this was, I would say, probably the best time for photographer to be in than any other time because the amount of technology, the amount of progression that I've seen in technology, the cameras that we use, the lenses that we use, it just became more and more fun. So I'll tell you, Gary, we started when it was the beginning of digital cameras. Back in the days, 15 years ago, there was a Canon camera product called Canon XT. It was back then $1,700, and of course, we bought the camera at that time. We started playing with it, and one thing that I've learned over the course of 15 years that I didn't used to do 15 years ago was I started reading manuals. So um, 15 years ago, we were basically, it was more about trial and learning from our mistakes. And we barely, because it was digital photography. What you see is pretty much what you get, and the screen was very forgiving. But then I would say somewhere down the line, we started playing with drones. We started playing with GoPro cameras, and they did not have the screen preview. And that's where we started learning, reading into the manuals. We started learning more about the equipment, what the different settings are, and stuff like that. And that was basically I would say, this is what I started learning, that before you start using your equipment, read the manual into it.
Mhm.
What I've unlearned is slightly different than the technology part is there was a time when we started the photography. We became wanted by some people. They said, okay, can you come and photograph our wedding? Can you come and make this TV commercial for us? Can you make this business promotional video for us? And then we reached a point where it was EBM was covering over 480 events in a year. We only have 365 days. So what I've learned is, you know, like, uh, what really works in any kind of a business is the leadership. And leadership comes from experience. I am certainly, I would say, um not a great leader, not a good leader, but I think I'm getting better because now my focus from being a boss back in the days is more towards servant leadership. So over the years, when of course I was leadership was new to me, business was new to me. I've never operated a business on my own. Got team member and employee distinction was always there, but it progressed over the years. And I think from my perspective, the unlearning part of the boss and learning part of a servant leadership, that was the deciding factor. And that was basically the factor which became the success part in EBM.
So, guys, as you can see, Mustafa is not not becoming a boss, trying to be a boss. He's trying to be people of the people, and that helped him to step up the way he is right now. And I think that's the key success to that. And I'm pretty sure he's still learning new things. I'm pretty sure I'll ask him later on what is the plan for the next 5 years. I'm pretty sure the technology will change, and he will still strive and learn and over again. Is that correct, Mustafa?
So, first thing, boss level, right? You remind me of that video game. So, all right. So, I think I'm not trying to be a better boss. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to get away from the terminology of boss. The team members within EBM, they feel empowered, not from today, not from last year. They have been empowered for many, many years. And as I said, my focus has always been on servant leadership. So you basically enter in somebody else's territory to help them out,
Mhm.
not to do their job, not to tell them how to do it. But the focus has always been from the perspective of, hey, if we try to do this, it will be slightly easier or it will be slightly better. That's the only perspective. Um, the last thing I want to be is a boss. I just want to be in that capacity of a team member, family member, friend, servant leadership. That's what our focus is. From the perspective of what's coming in next 5 years, nobody can predict the future. What we want to do, what we have done, we have learned from that. What we have done is we have done school pictures, we've done commercial productions, we've done personalized productions, we've done music videos. So we will continue to do that. But what will happen, what my focus is on EBM is growing EBM from the perspective of our family needs to grow.
Mhm.
My focus has never been about money. My focus has never been about that. Uh, Actually, correct. Let me correct this. There was a time when we were doing a lot of business. Some few years ago, as I mentioned, 480 events in a year, and we wanted it all. We wanted, we were young, we were enthusiastic, and we were foolish. We wanted to rule the wedding industry. We said to ourselves that, hey, if we can lower our prices, we can increase our features, we can increase the product line, we can increase the service line, and volume. Focus on volume. We can have it all. Nobody can have it all. I mean, history has proven that fact over and over that whether you're Alexander the Great, whether you are a Roman Empire, or for that matter, any other empire in the future, in the history,
Mm.
nobody can have it all. And same was the journey for us. We tried and we failed. There's no way that we could have it all. There will always be people. Yes, we did basically push the EBM team size to over 27 people at one point.
Mhm.
But that's where we started learning that what was happening at that point, we were getting away from the fun element and more about accounting, more about scheduling. And I personally think that we were just not ready at that time. From my perspective now, what's going to happen is EBM needs a lot more enthusiasts in the days to come because I certainly feel that EBM can benefit from folks who are from all, diversified. We have people who are in their 50s, we have people who are in their 20s, we have people who are in their 30s. So it's not like it's a company for young people only. It's a company for, like a mature crowd only. It's a company for photography enthusiasts.
Mhm.
And my focus would be to basically bring more people into EBM who have the passion for photography,
Mhm.
and rest everything else will follow by, you know like uh, whatever the fate is.
Mm. So now, so we've talked about the business point of view and the passion and how this EBM started. So let's divert a little, if you and let's do a little there,
Exciting.
right? And just pick it from the store. And I go to an event. Is that it? Or there's other items too that we need to buy? I guess we need a tripod, right? And we need a lens and light. So what is more important? I mean, I can be a regular person and just pick it up and do this event on my own. Why would I need to hire?
No, no, no. So, okay, you can certainly make an omelet or let's say a some sort of a chicken sandwich at your home, but you go to Panera for the flavor that they bring. Yes, you can get very, very close to that, but there are two elements for that. There's an element of convenience, there's an element of flavor, and then you like over the years, I would love if somebody can photograph me. I would love if somebody can basically make my video the way I saw it. And that's been if I when I go to a vacation with friends and like everybody says, Mustafa, you're not even in any of the pictures, you're not even in any of the videos. That's because nobody's out there. Does do they know how to use the camera? Absolutely. Do they have cameras? All of them. Everybody has an iPhone. Everybody has a nice Android phone which can take beautiful pictures. These days, not many people carry cameras around. So you asked me two questions. First is equipment, $1,000 worth of equipment or anything. So I'll tell you, when we started EBM 15 years ago, it was very different back then than we're compared to what it is today. When somebody approached me for a event coverage, the first thing I said was, "Yeah, we can do it." And had I done it before? No. Could I do it? Yes, because everybody, it's like bicycling. You start operating cameras from a very early age, whether it was a DSLR camera or a digital DSLR camera, or let's say a cell phone camera. Back in the days, flip phones had cameras as well. But when I wanted to do the photography, I went to B&H in New York, and I spent about $27,000 back then. Tripods, lighting system, camera equipment, multiple photography equipment, video equipment, and computers to edit the product. Nowadays, it's more forgiving. Definitely, if somebody wants to do it, I would encourage them, get a nice digital camera and a tripod. Start playing with the basics. Get better at it. When you get better at it, make your production count. You don't have to have gliders. You don't have to have cranes. You don't have to have gyros or let's say stabilizers before you don't invest too much into it. Let your game decide what you need to do next. When we started, I started as a photographer, not as a videographer. What do I enjoy more? I enjoy video more today because uh, of the action, the excitement that I see in their music, in the video it is. But the difference is I can take a picture and get a satisfaction out of it within the, let's say, next 5, 6 minutes. I can take a picture, transfer it to my phone, process it on my phone, and share it on Instagram or Facebook or any other medium, and get the recognition for it. For video, the workflow is in not in hours, but it's in days. You you know, like sometimes it could be in hours as well. We've done same day edits as well. But as I said, I enjoy video more today than photography back in the days, and that's why because of two reasons. There are a few team members from EBM. I like to take the names like Christina, Laura, Lubov, uh, Alexandra, Farhan, they all take better pictures than I do. And for me, it's about competing with them. So that's what the focus is. That I learn from them.
Mhm.
So when they're on an event, I watch under what lighting conditions, what kind of settings, what is their approach, and it's different, right? You're looking at Christina, you're looking at Lubov, you're looking at Laura, Alexandra, Farhan, everybody has a different style.
Mhm.
And honestly, they have been great tutors for me. But for video, it's different. You and myself, and few others have been involved. I mean, Christina LeBall, everybody does. By the way, everybody in EBM does photography and video. It's just that few have more inclined towards photography, few have more inclined towards video.
So, guys, video is important, photo is important, but I think at the end of the day, bring out a little passion into that. It brings out the charm, as Mustafa is saying. So I thank you for that. There are different age groups. Okay, old school, new school. Old school, they want photos. They want to print those photos out and put the albums, right?
Mhm.
Old school, they don't really care too much about video. Is that trend changing now, or are we still focused on photos like old school, and all the people around us, they want more photos than videos?
Okay, so in order for someone to appreciate a picture, yes, you can have a digital and you can watch it on screen. From my perspective, print is where you really get to appreciate the quality of the picture, the fine details, whether you print it on a metallic print or whether you convert it on a canvas. But print medium is, a lot of people say that print medium is dying. From my perspective, this is where you feel the picture, you hold it. A lot of times, I don't know if you can relate to it, when you miss someone dear, you look at their picture, you even touch their face, and that's a connection, that's a human connection, that's human to human. Yes, you can do that on a screen as well, but is it the same? I think that print medium just basically has a different connection, and that's different from person to person. From my perspective, print is the way to appreciate the pictures. Now, you also asked about young versus old and what is the focus on there. The generation, if you look at it, ever since the beginning of photography, people became infatuated with the idea of preserving a moment. And that idea is not going anywhere. If you look at it, Instagram, that's all about photography. People take their pictures, whether it's a selfie, whether somebody else is taking it and they're posting it online, whether and they're getting a recognition and appreciation. I personally think, if anything, over the course of years, the balance has shifted more towards creativity. People started appreciating it more because it became more accessible. Because you can drive a car, you get to appreciate the person who's operating the crane because that's more difficult. You get to appreciate the person who's driving a bus, or you get to appreciate the person who's driving a race car because you can drive it yourself, right? Now you can relate to it. Hey, if I needed to drive at 140 miles an hour, that would be a totally different feeling. And I'm not comfortable in driving at that speeds. Or maybe that's your passion and that's what you want to follow. When you see a tractor trailer on the road, you get to appreciate the fact that this person behind the steering wheel is driving a 16 wheeler, and they know the responsibility. We only feel the responsibility for the car that we are driving, and then you see somebody who's driving a car which is, let's say, 6 times bigger than your vehicle. So that's the same thing on photography as well, because everybody can take pictures. And we've all experienced something similar, that, hey, why does my phone does not take good pictures like you? Or you may have heard that, so you're a photographer, you must be having a nice camera. So people, whatever their medium, whatever their expression is, whether it's feeling that somebody may have a better camera, then they have the ability to take better pictures. Sometimes they have that, which is totally fine. People are, it's okay to have an opinion. Sometimes people say that, hey, why does my phone does not take that good of a picture like yours? Maybe they're talking to your friend, or maybe two, people, two friends are talking among themselves. I personally think the appreciation of photography has increased than ever. So you mentioned earlier at the beginning of this, conversation that we started, that my day job is a technologist. My passion in evenings and weekends is more about photography. In my day job, I deal with a lot of data. And as we speak, every year, every year, mankind is creating more data than in the history of mankind. In 2020 alone, mankind created more data than all of man's history from 2019 all the way to the beginning of man.
That is that due to COVID? You think that there's more data and people are coming out with different ideas of data?
So
And we're
data,
not even talking pictures and video. I'm just talking in general.
no, I would not blame COVID for that.
Okay. So what is the trend as to why is that a spike according to you?
The tendency to share, the human tendency to record. Whether you are in a technology firm, you are recording every action. Like let's say when I log on to my bank site, they are recording that, okay, this person, Mustafa Aziz, logged onto the bank site, clicked on this page, tried to access this section, tried to you know, like, uh, make this transaction, try to withdraw a statement. So what happens is, like, and the reason they're recording all that is, tomorrow if there is a litigation, tomorrow if there's an help desk issue, they can look at my actions and basically determine what went wrong and what needs to be done to correct the course.
Mhm.
Same thing on personal level. People are taking pictures of their kids a lot more, their pets, themselves, their clothing. You know, like if you reverse back 25 years in time, or let's say 16 years in time, when people still used to have rolls in their cameras, were they taking pictures of their shoes? Probably, but not as much as how people are doing today. Today people just have learned to document a lot more because they enjoy that. Um, it's not about showcasing what you have, but it's about sharing with your friends and family and community, what you get inspired with. And that's what's creating a lot more data than any previous year.
I think what's happening also, Mustafa, maybe I could be wrong, is that in back in the days we used to have film rolls, right? So in that film roll used to be a quantity of 24 pictures or 36 pictures, depending on which roll you buy. Okay. And in the nowadays in the digital world, you have a 16 gig, 32 gig, 1 terabyte. So you have multiple data within that card. So I think maybe you are right on that point of view. Is that correct, you think?
Two factors: accessibility.
Hmm.
Okay. Photography has certainly gotten cheaper. There's no doubt about that. Back in the days, I had to buy a film roll, then I had to develop it. On video perspective, I had to buy video cassette tapes. Now it's just one SD card, which does the magic. And like, you can store, you can format it, you can store again, you can format it endless times.
Yes.
So accessibility, and because it's cheaper, that's one
Hmm.
thing. Second thing is recognition. Back in the days, we did not have social media formats. We did not have these platforms where people could share instantly with their parents, with their friends, with their community, and get the recognition out of it.
Hmm.
I personally think, on an average, and that's my personal opinion, humans crave appreciation. And whether you cook food and take a picture of it or a video of it and post it on Instagram or Facebook, and you get X amount of views, you get X amount of likes, that's community telling, like, hey, XYZ, good job, keep up the good job, keep sharing more stuff. And you get inspired by that. And the next day you see, you people post these pictures of cakes and stuff like that, and I'm like looking at it. I start craving more and more food. Like, I'm a victim of that. But that's what it is. People started getting more, humans started getting more appreciation. Photography became cheaper, and that resulted in direct increase in incline of the data that we create.
So
And
most
the way corporations are also working, everything is getting recorded, everything is getting digital. Back in the days, kids used to work on pencil and paper and books.
yes.
Nowadays, kids are working more on digital screens. So of course, they're saving their homeworks on Google Drives. They're sharing their homeworks with their teachers on different kind of tools that are digitally available to them.
So, so Mustafa, you deal with when I say Desi, I mean India and Pakistan events, but I think you do other events too, American events too. But you don't do New York and New Jersey. You do other states also, right? And how often do you do that? Do you go overseas quite a lot, or within the United States? How does that work for you? And how does the thinking process change between the state to state?
Not as much as I would love to. Um, so EBM has always, for me and for other folks at EBM as well, has always been about chasing dreams.
Hmm.
So it started from back in the days when HD cameras were not even introduced in the camera in the market for wedding photography. We were among the first 10 from the tri-state area to book the high definition cameras with Sony directly. Sony was the first one to come up with that. When the drones, before the drones even became commercialized, we were flying custom built drones to capture the uh, moments for our clients, whether it was commercial, whether it was wedding related, whether it was birthdays. We were doing custom built drones before they even became commercialized, before DJI even entered the market. Once we did that, once we did a lot more of that, we wanted to create an international portfolio, and our focus basically shifted that, okay, we should not be just restricted to New York, New Jersey, Connecticut market, or Pennsylvania or Delaware or Maryland or Virginia. We wanted to basically go, basically we did not just wanted to stick around on the East Coast. We wanted to go national and international. And it happened a lot faster than we could have ever imagined. When we wanted to create our international portfolio, when we wanted to go national, both things have happened simultaneously. Myself and Farhan and Christina, in the early days, when we said to ourselves, hey, we should pursue events out of East Coast as well. Guess what? We're doing coverage in Texas, Houston. You were part of that. We did coverages in Las Vegas, California, Nebraska, Salt Lake, Utah. We've done coverage in Paris, Switzerland, London, Venice. You name it. Mexico, Greece, Santorini. Pakistan, Dubai. So we've done coverages internationally, national, and I think our willingness to get out of our comfort zone, that's what did the magic.
Yeah.
When we basically presented the idea to our clients that, hey, we could do this coverage for you, but you can basically take us with us to our journey, which will always be remembered in time like no other time. Whether we go to Nevada, whether we go to a desert in Nevada, or an underwater shoot, or let's say we fly to Santorini in a remote location, we have to take multiple different planes, take boats to get to a location. Our couples were just equally as excited as we were, and they embraced the idea and they say, yeah, we want to do that, and we would love EBM to be part of our memories. And this was, I would say, the breakthrough that we did, and we ended up creating an international portfolio.
Yeah. So guys, let me in the coming episodes, people will start knowing me, who I am and my background. And obviously, yes, I'm a technologist and I've done radio back in my time, but my little passion is also videography and photography. And when I was introduced to EBM and Mustafa, I joined his team also, and I do that part time. So my background, my grandfather used to be a movie director back in the black and white days. So obviously, I guess that DNA and the blood just came in, and my passion just came out instantly as soon as I met Mustafa and the gang. And I think we've traveled around across the nation and made people happy and made their dreams come true. In a small picture, in a small video. Yes, I mean the pictures are big when depending when you wide it, but you know what I mean. A picture itself makes a product, and we made we have made few people happy in that end product, I hope. Uh, so Mustafa, uh, by yes, taking pictures, like I can just stand right in front of you and take pictures, right? But I think there's more than that, because people, they don't understand and they don't realize that it goes beyond on that, right? We take different angles, different creativities, and people, they think that it's just an easy thing, just standing in front and recording you. But I don't think that's the case. Am I right on that? Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, so we've been a victim of certain things ourselves.
Yes.
A lot of people get this idea, and we were one of those people as well. That okay, if I am taking a person, somebody's picture, and the background is all blurred, you go like, oh wow, the background is all blurred. Yeah, it was cool when we first did it. It was cool when we did it for the first 10 times or maybe 20 times, but it's not always cool. Sometimes you like and I think the challenge is not about blurring the backgrounds or making the backgrounds visible. It's about telling the story. When you're taking a picture of a bride and groom, or when you're taking a picture of the friends of the bride and groom who are present at the wedding or in an event, or whether you are taking a picture of a kid at a school for a school picture day, you're telling a story of their life at that moment in time. You know, like what what was it like that? And the challenge and the inspiration should be you tell that moment the best way you can. Do not try to tamper the moment by staging it too much. Do not try to, let's say, let me put it this way. At an event, if a father gets emotional during a son's special moment, you know, it's okay to have a blurry picture. It's okay to have an out of focus picture. Then to figure, then to basically concentrate on getting that picture perfect, lighting perfect. It's okay to take a dark picture. It's okay. You make mistakes. Capture the moment. Photography should be as genuine and should be telling the story as it happened. Of course, I'm not saying that go start going and start taking out of focus or blurry pictures, but what I'm saying is it's okay to make mistakes. Is it as simple as standing behind the camera and taking a picture? Yes. My kids do that. I do it. My mom does it. My wife does it. Everybody does. Focus on creating the content. And if you enjoy the process, try to get better at it. That's all it is.
So,
It's
guys, the key word is read the manual, as Mustafa says. Try different experiments to get improved on that, right? And obviously, the quality and the moment will just come out naturally. And I think, uh, yes, clarity is not the key. The moment is the key, according to what Mustafa just said. So, Mustafa, it's a great talking to you today. Today has been a really educational day for me. Obviously, I did not realize few histories, and even though that I've known you for X amount of years, and we will not exploit how many years that I've known you, but it's been great and educational for me. Do you have any last words before we end the show today?
Keep inspiring. Like a lot of times, what I would say to anybody else who wants to do a business, there are two ways to do it. Either come up with a business plan, get yourself familiarize what you need to do, or just follow your passion. I would not say that my approach is the best approach, or if that's even an okay approach. Like I've just been blessed by opportunities, but I think deep down, I've always pursued one thing, and that was my passion, whether it was for spending time with friends, playing video games, or taking pictures, or for that matter, let's say coding, making websites, developing products for my day job. Follow your passion, whatever that is. If it's making sandwiches at Subway, I've done that too. And I enjoyed that process. Back in the days, there was a time period where I did not have a job on my hand. I did not even have an EBM at that time. And I was given the opportunity to work at a restaurant making Subway sandwiches. I enjoyed that process. When you're in that moment, when you're doing something, when you are awake, when you are brushing your teeth, when you are making coffee in the morning, when you show up at work, bring the best of you. That's the only
Thank you.
thing.
Thank you so much, Mustafa. Before we end the call today, guys, so I want to give a good quote of the day. The quote of the day, and this actually defines this episode. There is one thing the photograph must contain: the humanity of moment, and that's by Robert Frank. Just keep that in mind. The photos and the moments are the key to the product of the photos and the videos. Okay. And as always, guys, thank you for all supporting. Subscribe, like, dislike, whatever you can, but keep on commenting. And that makes this show stronger, makes me show more improvement and give you more products and more guests on this show. It will be a great honor to have more subscribes and likes. Now, as I always say at the end of the show, is everything in life is going back to basics, and that's what we did today. Thank you guys for joining, and see you next week.
Thank you, Girish.